Ready to make a real impact every day? Join the Active Day Home Care team and help clients maintain their independence in the comfort of their own homes. Make a difference in someone's life as you provide essential daily assistance and protect their health and happiness. Earn up to $20 an hour and enjoy additional perks like optional daily pay, 401k, paid time off, ongoing educational training, and more. Join a team that values care, compassion, and your professional growth. Visit activeday.com to apply.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me here in my little corner of the world over to you. Thank you so much for tuning into this podcast, whether you're watching me on YouTube or you're downloading this thing on iHeartRadio, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get those lovely podcasts. Thank you so much for joining me. A nice hot summer, as it always is, here in the southeastern United States and the ATL metro region. We are just jamming along here like we always do every single summer. It's just hard to believe that we had cool temperatures at one time. It's just really almost impossible to believe that when we get into the thick of the summer and these AC units are churning along and tons of condensation is coming out of them like crazy no matter where you go. You could walk around a shopping center or something like that. All of a sudden you're getting where's the rain coming from? No rain. It's the condensation coming out of the AC units that are chugging along, trying to keep people somewhat cool as we are just trying so hard to beat the heat. It's just really, really tough. But enough about the heat and the horrible sun that really can practically almost kill us sometimes. The sun is it's just so intense down here. But anyway, I have a great episode this week here at the end of June of 2025. I speak again with the keyboardist from Styx, Lawrence Gowan. Gowan. And I always want to get those pronunciations right. Gowan. I think that's it. Yeah. I never really mention their names when I speak with them, but what a wonderful keyboardist and does so much for the band Styx. They are traveling across the fruited plain like so many other acts, hitting these outdoor amphitheaters across really the eastern part as we're heading into July. They were out west as I was speaking with Lawrence, who was over there in Oregon, and they're just rocking it. They have a great new album out there and I highly recommend it. Go out there and get it. Go to their website or wherever you get your music. Styx has another new album. They are still producing great new stuff. Of course, you're going to get the hits when you go to see them live. And most shows, I believe, it's Kevin Cronin from REO Speedwagon who will be joining them. And basically, there's your music festivals with all these guys. And Don Felder, who was in a band called the Eagles, very instrumental in their classic Hotel California phase there with that double neck guitar. The guy's amazing. He had this great single out many moons ago called Heavy Metal. I'm sure he plays that as well. I got to go out there and check him out. And so much stuff. He does his own take on Hotel California. Does an amazing job as always. He's just incredible talent. But Styx, wow, I love talking with Lawrence. He is amazing, just a really, really great guy. And I did a phoner conversation with him a while ago, one of my podcasts, if you want to check that out. But this time we see him live on camera. Great guy. I had a great time speaking with Lawrence. So when you get a chance, go out there and see Styx with Kevin Cronin's REO Speedwagon. You know how it is with that whole legal crap. These people go on and on. Anywho, enjoy.
Bob.
Good afternoon. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
Great. A little bit humid and gross here, as we call it here in the Atlanta metro area.
Well, yeah. All right. That's how it can be.
Nothing like what we grew up with. We were talking a few years ago. I grew up in Ohio, and it could briefly get like this, but I believe you're from Canada?
Yeah, we're probably on the same parallel in Toronto.
I grew up in Cleveland.
Yeah, so we're just basically we're like this.
Yeah, yeah. I used to love going up to Toronto. It was just
Yeah,
so
great.
unusual. Great sights, great food. What a good city it is.
Well, I love going to Cleveland, so that's another great thing. Good.
Yeah, yeah, and what a history Cleveland has. I just remember growing up there and just, this love of rock and roll and oh
Yeah.
gosh, this guy named Kid Leo. I don't know if you were familiar with him.
No.
Back at the old WMMS. It was a big station there in Cleveland many moons.
I know WMMS because I actually did their lunchtime concert once. They had these live concerts in the 80s. In 1985, it was like a 1 hour live, which is amazing. You
Yeah.
go on there. I had a song that, although it was on import, it was got into the top 20 in Cleveland, and WMMS was championing it. And yeah, I got great memories there. I opened for Tears for Fears and for Foreigner there
Sweet.
in on Foreigner 4. That was the album. Oh no, Asian Provocateur, I think it was.
After
Yeah.
that with I Want to Know What Love Is. Yeah,
Yeah,
1984,
yeah,
85.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I thought it was at Richfield Coliseum.
Oh, the old Richfield Coliseum, many memories there. Yes. Saw big bands there as
Yeah.
well. Yeah. And you're off to Blossom later this summer in
Yeah.
Cuyahoga Falls, which is well sort of south of Cleveland. But yeah,
Yeah, I know. I'm well familiar with that venue because we did a live record there actually with the Contemporary Youth Orchestra in 2006, I believe it was. And Blossom's one of my favorite amphitheaters because it's made out of wood.
made
It's
for music. Finally, like
yeah,
you go to
made,
these arenas and it's
that's the
like,
whole thing.
yeah.
Yeah, it's made for music.
Absolutely. Great memories there. And here in Atlanta, we have a lot of great amphitheaters like Ameris Amphitheater. So I
Yeah,
hope to see you there this
yep,
summer as well. But you are in the midst of a tour, and this
yep,
is exciting. Styx just keeps going. It's just amazing. You guys are so creative, and you
yeah.
have a great new album that's coming out while you're touring.
And the album's called Circling from Above. We have from the start of the tour, which started June 21. No, sorry, it's only
Probably
June
in
4th
May, I
now.
think, was in
Sorry, it
South
started
Carolina.
May 21. Come on
Yeah.
now. Um,
Yeah.
and, and we've made the album available at the shows. Bob, I got to announce something. This is a very unusual hotel I'm calling you from today. This is a very rustic place. Look at this. Look at this picture of
Oh,
this
that
guy
is so
behind me.
cool.
It is very cool. It's like this whole rustic feeling to it. I think that guy there, I think he might have built this hotel. And they obviously, they saved a lot on electric light bulbs. I'm actually calling you from the year 1976 right now, and time traveled forward, and I've just discovered this amazing thing called a laptop computer. Hang on, I'll talk to you later, Mom. Anyway,
I
I,
know the old landlines. That's how I got my professional job when I moved here to Atlanta. I started
oh
working with
yeah,
Turner Broadcasting Systems, but
right.
I did my interview over the phone. People thought that was nuts on a rotary.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah,
the
exactly. Yeah, I know. It's amazing when you look at an old piece of technology. Well, I think this is like a redone one. Yeah, just the memories that it suddenly evokes are just instantaneous. That especially when it comes to something that's related to your work. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And then, as a recording artist, you go back to those days, what, 4 track, 8 track. It's so like, you like the analog feel and the sound and the way that's
All of that.
evolved.
The not just someone explained it recently. I watched a little YouTube clip that it goes beyond the sound. It's the actual practice of how you interacted with these machines, because they were electromagnetic, I guess, for the most part, and how that contrasts so dramatically, so starkly with what we interact with now in the digital age, and like us doing this Zoom call. I never knew what this was until 4 years ago.
Exactly. I
Yeah,
know. This has
yeah,
revolutionized everything. I was able to do this podcast because of the pandemic and then Zoom just
that's right.
blew up.
Yep, yep, exactly. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, that's just I was on YouTube the other day, this guy named Dave Rosenthal. Are you familiar with Dave? Who's
I know the
Billy
name.
Joel's
Yeah.
mu Yeah, he's Billy
Oh,
Joel's music director and
oh
runs
yes, of course, of course. That's
runs
right. Yeah,
keyboard and they got
yeah,
into the nitty-gritty because you're a keyboard artist and they were just showing his setup. And I'm just like completely amazed at all the stuff, the Moog, and they're really, really getting into it. He did a tour with a guy from Keyboard Magazine. It's just really
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah, I've done a similar thing. I use all the analog gear. I have had to repurchase some of it that I got rid of way back when. But when we're recording for Styx records, I use all the old clunky analog stuff that I have at the studio in Toronto. I don't take that stuff on the road because it's so volatile, especially in the tuning department. That's where the digital stuff has really been a great boon. It's far more reliable. Oh my God. Luckily, there's lots of wood to touch around this hotel.
Yeah, yeah. So you're up in, is it Oregon? And are
Yeah,
you in?
We're in Bend, Oregon. Yep.
Yeah, you got to say Oregon just right. That's very, yeah, everybody's got their own ways of pronouncing things.
We say Oregon in Canada.
Yeah. Yeah, and talk about wonderful weather and a great culture up on the northwest coast over there.
Yeah, it is. This is one of the nicest. I mean, whenever I'm here, it's usually sun shining, clear skies, but people here will generally tell you, oh no, it rains like 150 days a year. Yeah, I have a feeling they're just saying that to kind of keep people away.
Smart,
Yeah.
smart. Unlike Atlanta, where like half the world moved here, I've seen it over all these decades. It's just, oh my gosh, please, we don't have that much water here.
Except in the air. You got lots.
Yeah, to the humidity. It's just, ugh. Yeah, and all the condensation from the air conditioners that we're constantly cranking here.
Great musical center, though, Atlanta. That's where our management is based. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, a lot of great history here too. I really like talking with the guys from Collective Soul. They play at
Yeah.
Ameris Bank Amphitheater here quite a bit.
Right.
So,
Yep.
yeah. Yeah, it's really good. But yeah, putting this album together, you're very involved with writing. How is that coming along after so many years? How does that
Well,
process come together?
really, I'm going to say a completely unbiased opinion. It's come together really, really well, honestly. When I first joined Styx 26 years ago, when we were doing our first album, we started recording in 2002. We all wrote the songs individually, and there weren't really. There might have been a couple of co-writes on there between Tommy and JY, as I recall. But we wrote the songs individually, although we split the publishing equally among the band back then. But when we took a long hiatus from going to the recording studio, and when we came back again in 2014 to begin working on what eventually became the mission that was released in 2017, that's where we began to actively co-write because the new guy, fellow that came into the picture then, Will Ivankovich, who's now a member of the band, as our producer at that time, he was highly encouraging on the blending and mixing of ideas within songs. And luckily, I'd had a lot of experience with that prior to my joining Styx in the 1990s. I'd co-written with on my solo records with Eddie Schwartz, who wrote "Hit Me with Your Best Shot" for Pat Benatar. Jim Valance, of course, who wrote tons with Bryan Adams and a few others. And anyway. And Aerosmith. And so I was basically I kind of pretty well versed in it, But when we discovered, what the blending of musical ideas, what the results could be from that really got us leaning forward and leaning into it and realizing these are nice surprises that are coming up. And there's a hearkening back to the classic rock days of Styx in the 70s. And at least that was from Tommy Shaw's perspective. And then we began to record, as we've just previously been discussing there, with the old analog gear and all of us in the studio together and going through the making of a record as if it was 1970, as if this phone was still in existence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the
and
memories.
We decided that's how we're going to make.
Bubba Wallace here from 2311 Racing. Funny thing about being fast, you end up waiting a lot. First to show up, first in line, then just waiting. Me, I rev up Chumba Casino. With over 200 social casino games, no slow lanes here. Why sit around when you can spin?
Start your engine!
I'm already racing. Your turn. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
Records if we ever get to make another one. So the mission was successful enough that we began to work on Crash of the Crown. Crash of the Crown got to #1 on the Billboard rock album chart. So that immediately kind of meant that we were on the right path to some degree. And we started working on Circling from Above, which is the new record this year in 2025.
Yeah, Circling from Above. And there's just so much inspiration there, and you lean into it. I feel like at times, it's conjuring up memories of discovering Yes. I
Yeah.
just feel so much of that in there.
I'm so happy to hear you say that. That was a great musical awakening for me back in 1972.
Hmm.
One guy in my class kept insisting that, because I liked Roundabout and I heard Fragile, but this one guy in my class was insisting that I get Close to the Edge. And I remember I went and got it and listened to it, and then I think I listened to it every single day for at least the next 18 months. And it had, yeah. So if anyone says that the new Styx record, that Circling from Above evokes feelings of discovering Close to the Edge, or any Yes album for that matter, you put a big smile on my face.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And it's a nice tribute. And believe me, you do it in your own original way. This isn't like, oh, somebody's trying to sing like John Anderson
No,
here.
I know. I mean, I had John Anderson sang on one of my solo records as well. So it's funny because it's funny you say that, because he actually commented back when we did that. There's a song called Moonlight Desires he sang on, and he said, "Wow, our voices blend really well." And I said, "That's probably because I was singing along with you in my bedroom at home, as a teenager, and trying to harmonize. So I probably got some practice in there." No, I think what you're referring to there, Bob, especially, is the fact that we unabashedly draw from that classic rock era, particularly of the 70s, because we were such fans not only of Styx music, but of Queen and Pink Floyd and Yes and Genesis for sure, Emerson, Lake and Palmer. These bands, Jethro Tull, these bands really informed us so much and gave us the palette from which to draw. So, periodically throughout, the making of this record and the last two, we would, suddenly refer to, a section of something and say, let's go for what they went for here. Eventually it doesn't sound anything like them really in reality, but the instrumentation can be very similar because we're using the 70s technology, and the intent is sort of in line with that era.
Yeah, you could really feel it. And It's Clear is a track that really comes to mind if anybody
Thanks.
gets to hear this new album. I really highly recommend getting this album. But It's Clear, it's got your keyboards like very, very prominent in that. What instrument is starting that track off? And this is all obviously people who are really listening to this. I listen to this, you can't just listen to it once. You gotta hit that button again.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear you say that. It is a cohesive work. Some people think it's conceptual. It's not. Usually the concept arrives later in the listener's mind, but it's a cohesive group of songs on Circling from Above. And on It's Clear, we have the little harpsichord figure at the beginning. And then it's funny because I got the chorus of the song first. That's what I heard. I heard that Tommy and Will had cobbled that together. And I took the recording of that and then thought, okay, this needs a really contrasting verse. So I came up with the verses. And then your fingers crossed all the time, hoping that they're going to like it and that it's going to fit in really well, which they did. So it's very contrasting with the chorus, which is a very explosive chorus and a very contemplative verse. That kind of sets it up to my mind. And I used on there, I have an old thing called it was a CP70 electric piano. That's underlying most of the song there. In the verses particularly, that's a piano that people would know from the Genesis or Peter Gabriel days. I'm trying to think of Keen, the band Keen that came out. They made heavy use of that electric piano, the CP70 it's called. So that's the main instrument that I used on there. I'm trying to think of what where then the bridge, of course, that's got a whole separate thing where vocally it begins to really take off. Oh, and a little bit of distorted Wurlitzer, which is an old keyboard that was originally used by Ray Charles. He was the first I'd ever heard use it. But Billy Preston played a lot of Wurlitzer as well. So yeah, those were the keyboards on It's Clear. And yeah, we actually, at the moment, we're using it as our, at the finale of the shows that we're doing this summer, that's kind of our Take the Bow music that comes on after we finish with Mr. Roboto and Renegade.
Yeah, how did the set list come about? I mean, obviously, people are paying to hear the hits, but you want to mix in some of the new stuff in there and the recent new stuff. How do
Yeah,
you guys do it?
So for this summer, beginning what we do, we've been done a residency in Las Vegas for the last 7 years, I believe. And sorry, I can't turn these new notifications off.
Oh, I know. That drives me.
And we played the Grand Illusion in its entirety, which we'd done a DVD of that in 2010. And it went over so well. When people, when they hear the album in its entirety, beginning to end, you've got, you've won them by the time you've done that first 40 minutes. And we play it faithfully to how the record, the same order. We try to even keep the spaces between songs as tight as possible, just like, so it really works well. We don't talk between the songs or anything. We play the first 40 minutes of the show, just the Grand Illusion. Then we do a collection of hits, which, we do Rockin' the Paradise and Too Much Time on My Hands, Lady. And then we throw in a brand new song, Build and Destroy, which we've got great video content for it. Kind of goes behind us on stage. So it's very intense. And then we eventually lead up to Best of Times, Blue Collar Man, and the encore, as I just mentioned. And I think this is the best set we've ever put together, quite honestly. I really do.
Yeah, and you're sharing the bill this summer too. So if you want to go out there,
pals of ours that have been with us for several years. Don Felder of the Eagles, of course. So you've got the night starts off at usually around 7 o'clock with Don playing the hits of the Eagles that he was all involved with. I mean, he's one of the writers on Hotel California, and then we have a band that has all the members of REO Speedwagon except for two that I always get toured with. It's called Kevin Cronin and the Music of REO Speedwagon. So it's funny because I look, Kevin was in REO for well over half a century. Dave Amato's been in there for about, 40 years, and Brian Hitt, same thing. So it's funny that, they're going through their legal situation right now, but it's called Kevin Cronin and the Music of REO Speedwagon, and they're playing High Infidelity in its entirety. So it's quite a night of music. I mean, you've got 4 hours in total of songs that everyone knows, and hopefully they're getting to know Build and Destroy as well.
Oh, it's great to have somebody start off with the Eagles classics, and Don Felder was so part of that.
That certainly sets the tone for sure.
Yeah, for those who followed the Eagles all those years, the double neck guitar, he's the guy. He's just
and he brings that out. He brings that out for Hotel California, the white double neck SG. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. It's just a great evening of a lot of amazing music, classic rock, and you guys are still doing it, making very good new albums. It's got and I love that, you have an actual LP that is got great artwork with it as well. You have some real masters, always did with Styx and their logo and all the artwork that comes with those packages.
I'm really glad you point that out. That is one of the things that when I came into the band, that's one of the things that I loved, is that all their album covers had a very distinctive look, artistically done, and always a little twist of whimsy in there. So we've tried to kind of, whenever the artists are coming up with the album cover, that's my little part that I continue to kind of push forward, is something whimsical needs to be in there as well. I love that with the Grand Illusion. I obviously loved it with Pieces of Eight, one of the most brilliant album covers. I think it was Hypnosis was the company that did that. And I'd also say Paradise Theater and Kilroy Was Here. So the Mission had the coin floating, in outer space with the names, the Mission coin. The Crash of the Crown had that incredible natural hole that had been caused by some vortex in the snow, and then but that broke through into there's at the very center of it. You can see, if you look closely, you'll see there's a woman lying on a floating mattress in the middle of a pool. So I love that. You had to look closely to see what was in the middle of this whole thing. And on this album cover, of course, the starlings have formed into one giant starling after they've devoured the satellite dish. It's basically, there's
really
a lot
cool.
of songs on this record that show that nature ultimately will be the victor. As we all know, it's a foregone conclusion, but we basically need to remind ourselves of that. And musically, it's a good theme to go after.
Yeah, great band. You guys really get along very well. It's like a great team. You got Tommy Shaw, James Young,
Yeah.
and new members as
Chuck.
well. It's
Yeah.
good band.
Tommy Shaw, James Young, Chuck Panazzo, and then of course Todd Zuckerman has been with us with Styx since 1996. I joined in 99. Will came in. Will actually came in a longer time ago than people realize because of the production, etc. He's actually been around it for about 15 years because it started with he and Tommy working on a solo Tommy Shaw record and then just continued forward. And my brother Terry, who joined the band just last year and has been a tremendous addition, I have to say. But don't tell him I said that.
Yeah, the upright bass. Hey, it's complete with that.
Oh yeah, you're right. There's a song called Blue Eyed Raven on this record, which it's more of a folksy type of Tommy Shaw song, akin to somewhat Boat on the River. And Terry, he played the upright bass on that one, which was kind of
cool.
great to see that big thing come out in their studio in Nashville. And so we do get along because we still play. I think we're going to play 92 shows this year, I believe is the number, as close to 100 as possible. And we end so many nights of the year ended with thousands of people on their feet in front of us with giant smiles on their faces, and we're kind of linked hands. And it's hard not to get along with people who are having that shared experience in a musical setting of a great rock show. And we do value it very highly.
Yeah, you've done your job when people can come and, get away from life's hassles and go down memory lane for 4 hours. That's amazing.
It's that, and it's also wonderful to see so many people in absolute agreement.
Yeah. Yeah.
And music, it just has that profound effect on everyone, us included.
Yeah, it's inspiring to see performers after all these decades still creating, still getting out there and doing what you do best, and you never sounded better. It's just incredible.
Thank you, Bob. Thanks
Yeah.
for saying that. Yeah.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you stopping by. It's always fun. Styx on the road this summer of 2025. Keep going. Yeah, it's fantastic.
53 years into the band's existence, and we're still loving it. Thank you.
Absolutely. Best wishes on the road. Everybody stay safe. And thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Bob. And thank you to this man who obviously put this hotel together for us years ago.
Beautiful. Yeah.
I'm going to just one more time to show you just how antiquated this whole thing is. Great talking to you, Bob.
And it still works. Sweet.
It's completely dead.
Oh, yeah. That's a nice piece.
Yeah. That's good. Okay, man.
Have a good one. Take care.
Nice to talk to you. Great. Cheers.
Bye-bye. Wasn't that fun? I really had a good time. Lawrence is just a fantastic artist. Good guy. Best wishes on that tour as they chug along through here in 2025. And I'll see you all soon. Have a good one. Thanks for tuning in, and thanks for downloading this thing or watching me on YouTube. Give me all the stars you can give me, I guess, on Apple Podcasts. I haven't really ever looked into that too much, but have a good one. Take care.
Bubba Wallace here from 2311 Racing. Funny thing about being fast, you end up waiting a lot. First to show up, first in line, then just waiting. Me, I rev up Chumba Casino. With over 200 social casino games, no slow lanes here. Why sit around when you can spin? I'm already racing. Your turn. Play for free at ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.